Welcome, Soul Aligned Self-Care people. It's nice to be back. Just waiting until it says that I'm live. I think I'm live. Yes, I am. Hello. Today on Soul Aligned Self-Care, we are going to be talking about why self-care is not selfish. And I'm here a little bit early. I'm like 10 minutes early. So I'm going to BS a little bit. Um, But this is a really important topic to me because I feel like there's a lot of people and specifically women. I feel like the pressure is more on women to do everything. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot of pressure, and still in some households, a lot of the weight of the household chores and taking care of the children lies on the woman, even though they might be working full time or own their own business or whatever they might be doing. A lot of those responsibilities are automatically assumed by the woman and assumed by society, meaning, as an example, um, say one of the kids gets sick at school, who does the school call? And maybe they're instructed to call the mom, or maybe they're instructed to call whoever, or maybe they have both contact numbers, but I guarantee you that um, almost probably 75% of the time, the mother, is getting called, unless it's um, a two dad household, then of course that won't happen. But I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that um, a lot of these responsibilities, not 100% of the time, but a lot of them get put on the woman in the relationship, and it's not really sustainable. It can be done, obviously, but it's not sustainable in a healthy way, meaning that it'll have some kind of effect on your health in some way, shape, or form. It could be stress, it could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be, like, health wise, it could be stress causes so many different things. It causes high blood pressure, it causes heart disease, autoimmune diseases, it causes pain in the body, aches and pains, neck pain, back pain, um, sometimes even chest pain. Like, some people, when they get stressed out, they get like a cramp in their diaphragm and they think they're having a heart attack. I've seen that before in in myself, and then also in some clients. So there's different ways that stress affect your body. So today, one of the problems I see with men and women, especially driven men and women, where they really want to be successful and they enjoy the process of that. They enjoy doing things. They enjoy business. They enjoy their job. They enjoy having successes and trying new things and having big goals and big dreams. Um, but they also have the societal pressure of, especially women. I hate to like emphasize that, and I'm not like hating on the men or anything, but it is like a societal pressure on women. And so they're expected to like do it all, be it all, and then like look good doing it too, for the most part. And like I said, it's not sustainable. This is a lot of pressure that's put on us, not just by society, but also sometimes by our families, um, you know, different generations. I definitely see an improvement in the younger generations, like in like my daughter's age, who is like in her just about to hit 30. Like, her friends, I see big differences in that generation, and it makes me really happy to see that. But there's still women my age, sometimes younger. I'm in my 50s, um, where this pressure is still very, very, very present. And also, it's just, we do live in a society, just in general, for men and women, where success and working really hard is um, viewed as um, you know, it's viewed as you being successful. It's working hard. You're deserving of success because you're working hard and you're putting all this effort forward. And it's almost like a badge of honor to talk about how you didn't get enough sleep and you worked all these hours and you're doing all this stuff. When it's not healthy for any of us, and it's also not just sorry, let me turn my notifications off. Sorry about that. not just for the person in general, but also for the people around you. And so I'm going to talk about some of those things today, like just like there's benefits for deep level self care on a daily basis, not just once a week, getting maybe like getting a massage once a week, which is fantastical and probably very life changing. But everyday self care to emphasize your life and the lives of the people around you. Not emphasize is not the right word, but to enhance or sustain or keep yourself healthy, just like brushing your teeth, exercising, even though everybody doesn't exercise, eating well, self care, which could put all those things into that category, but it goes much deeper than that, can take care of yourself on a deeper level and in tune have a ripple effect on all the people around you and have a ripple effect on the world, really. So I have to apologize today. Mm, I'm drinking coffee. I feel like death. I've been fighting a sinus infection, and I do this every year. When it gets cold out, I start burning the wood in the house. I think I might be allergic to it. It's like um, it's like I have to get used to it. I think I'm gonna get an air purifier and see if that works because the space where the wood stove is like a really small space, and I think it'll help. But my sinuses get so I'm like my face is so like so much pain right now. Just there's just so much. And by the end of the day, like today, I feel yucky. I just definitely I thought I was going to feel better because yesterday was a better day, but oh, I am struggling today. So I'm drinking coffee, which doesn't really solve the problem, but it helps me stay awake. Mm. Yesterday, I stopped working at like 2 o'clock. Self care, right? But today, I have this live, and then I have another one at 2, and then I have a call at 3, and then after that, I'm going to call the quits. But this this topic is really so important to me. So I'm going to get started. I have a few reasons. This isn't going to be a terribly long live, but I want you to really, what I really want to get across to you is that self care is not selfish. And most people feel guilty, even giving themselves the small little bits of substandard self care, like thinking that if they maybe have lunch with a friend every week that that's going to solve all your self-care problems, but it really goes so much deeper than that on so many different topics, like really learning what your core values are and where your when you know where your values are, it's easier to set goals. When you set goals, it's easier to be more intentional with your time. It's about setting boundaries and protecting your energy and protecting your time. It's about learning how to respond to a situation than react. It's learning about how to control and move through your emotions responsibly. It's about learning how to love yourself unconditionally, even when you're trying to improve yourself. It's learning to have gratitude for everything. It's so many different things rather than just lunch with a friend, a massage. But those things are very important. I'm not saying that they're not important. Those things make huge differences in my life too. And I actually have a list of 30 days of self care that has these little bits of self care that you could add in daily. It's a great way to start a habit. And I'll put a link in the comments, or like if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put it in the show notes where you could pick up that list for free. Um, I like to keep it next to my desk so that I could look at it when I'm feeling like exactly how I'm feeling today. I'm tired, so I basically will probably just lay down, but there's some days where I'm stressed and I need something else, or maybe I might be sad, or it's about learning what your emotions are and what you need to give yourself. That is part of self-care. Learning how to take care of yourself. This is also a form of self-love, right? So it just goes so much deeper. So let me share with you. Actually, I have my notes here because I am foggy. I look foggy. I look a little, I don't know what the word is. Tired? I don't know. I don't look like myself. I definitely don't feel like myself. Okay, so the first one is when you take care of yourself at a high level, you feel good about yourself. And this isn't just physically, you feel good about yourself. When you feel good, the people around you will also feel good. So you're just going to give off that energy level. Do you know how when you're in a room and somebody walks in and they either automatically make you feel bad or they automatically make you feel good? Sometimes it can be quite neutral, but there's just those people that you have in your life, and when they come into the room or when you talk to them, they light you up. I feel this way about my kids. All my kids are adults now. They live in different places. And whenever I hear about them, whenever I hear from them, all of them, it just makes me so happy. They're all so much fun to be around. They're just really good people, really good kids. And so I'm really lucky that way. But um, so also when you're taking care of yourself at a deep level or high level, I also say you feel good about yourself. So what does that really mean? What are you doing? And so one of the things that you're doing when you're taking care of yourself and you're taking that time to spend on yourself is you're showing yourself how worthy you are of that care. And we all are, but some of us don't believe it. Like I said, some of us don't even give ourselves the substandard amount of self-care. And sometimes we don't think we're working hard enough to deserve that. Whatever it might be, there's a lot of I'm not worthy or I'm not enough involved in there with a lot of people. And so when you start to do this, you automatically feel good because you're being cared for. It doesn't even matter what you're doing, you're just being cared for. And when you feel that level of self-love and that confidence and that worthiness and that enoughness, it passes on to the other people around you. And when they feel that, it makes them feel that way. And then they pass it on, and so on, and so on, and so on. It's like kind of like when someone buys you coffee at the drive-through and it makes you feel so freaking good that then you buy coffee for the next person, and it just like spreads like that. It's the same way with an energy level, with a vibration. You're spreading that, and it really changes the dynamics of the relationships in your life. It changes the dynamics sometimes of just a room or a situation. It could change a work environment. It could change a home environment for a child. I mean, how valuable is that if you can show up in that way for your kids all the time just because you're taking care of yourself rather than being run down, stressed out, and cranky, right? I've definitely been there. We've all been there, right? So when we can do these things, this is why it's not selfish. It's not just about you. It has a ripple effect on the people, the situations, the rooms, the circumstances of so many other people. And when we can expand ourselves and look at this as we are not individuals, it's not just about us. It's not just about our success. It's not just about our care. It's never about us. It's never just about us. We're always connected to everybody. As much as you, like, my hair looks so funky. I can't deal with it. I don't want to look at myself right now. Sorry, I keep touching it. It's just driving me crazy. I didn't do it. That's why it's just a little weird. I didn't feel like doing it. Sorry. But I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I think it makes a huge difference. And if I just stopped here with just that one reason, I really feel like that's enough. I feel like everybody needs to know how important taking care of themselves at a high level is. Just not just how it affects them and their health, their stress levels, everything. It affects everybody around them too. Okay, more coffee. Mm. I kind of feel like if I put this on my face, it feels really good. You know what? Maybe I'll do like a warm pack after this. Like, I feel like it would be so wonderful if I could just like reach in there and just like remove my sinuses. I could feel them. They're so present in my face. If that makes sense. Okay, number two. Even though I'm not really counting them, let's count them and say 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, an even number. I didn't even know I did that. Okay. 2. When you practice self-care, you get sick less. This allows you to continue to work, play, and help and care for others. Okay, so not that it's about you being a workhorse, um, but from a perspective of driven people, and that's who I'm speaking to right now. That's what I consider myself to be, is just very driven, like type A kind of personality, but also all people that just want to continue to work, continue to play, have fun. Some people are doing schoolwork, learning new things, doing hobbies, whatever it might be. When you get sick less, you can do these things more. And this has just a huge effect on yourself, but also the people around you, because when you can't care for your children because you're sick, or you can't go to work, you might lose money, or you might fall behind on a project. If you can't do your business, so like say I get sick, I don't rest this afternoon. Like instead of laying down after my 3 o'clock appointment, I continue on because I always have stuff I could do. I could work 24/7, like I could just continue. But if I don't lay down and then I get a sinus infection and then I might have to cancel appointments, or I'm going to be launching my self-care program soon. I'm very excited about that. I might fall behind on that and not launch it at the right time or talk to enough people. Whatever it might be, I'm going to fall like behind, and this is okay if you do get sick, but if it's because you're not taking care of yourself, it just sucks. It just sucks. And it does have a ripple effect on some of the people around you, but just because if it is like a responsibility thing where you have to take care of certain things, somebody else is going to be affected by that. Um, Also, I feel like the more we care for ourselves, then the more stuff that we can do that we enjoy, and then we just have more fun in life. I mean, it's just a really good way to look at it. Next, when you take care of your stress levels, you will help avoid many health issues like high blood pressure, autoimmune disease, anxiety, depression, heart disease, and many, many more. Panic attacks was something I suffered from when I was under a lot of stress. So learning how to take care of your stress levels is one of the deepest levels self-care. This is like I talk about this all the time. I call it finding your de-stressors. So it's about learning how to care for the different emotions that come into your life, whether that be stress, anxiety, anger, fear, sadness, whatever that might be, learning how to help yourself deal with those emotions in the best way because everybody's different. What works for me is not going to work for you, or it might not. So the self-care part is learning what those are, having the care and the love for yourself to learn how to manage your own emotions. A lot of us weren't taught this as children, so learning how to do this as an adult is um, such like one of the deepest levels of self-care and self-love that I could bring up with a lot of my clients. I've met people in their 70s who don't know how to do this, and I teach them little, small, easy techniques that are just life changing sometimes. And so this could be really important and helpful. Um, and obviously, when we don't handle our emotions correctly and we're holding them in, like stress and anxiety, even sadness and fear, that can cause different types of disease in your body. Like if you're under a lot of stress for a long period of time, you can have high blood pressure, definitely anxiety. Um, if you're if you're just constantly thinking about the past and beating yourself up about it, you could deal with depression. So, like, learning how to work through these emotions and then move forward is just huge. Okay, next. When we practice self care, you can put your best self into the world. That might mean you could be a better partner, friend, daughter, sister, mother, business owner, employee. Whatever you spend your time doing, it will be done better if you care for yourself first. And so we all want that, don't we? We all want to put our best selves forward. Like we want to do our best work. We want to. It's human nature, right? Hmm. When I do these lives, I want to come on here and give you the best information that I can. When I write a blog post, I want it to be something that could possibly help someone in the best way. Um, Everything I do, I want to do at my best. When I make someone dinner, I want it to be good. When I'm doing my podcast, I want it to be good. When I'm spending time with my kids, I want to have the best possible time I possibly can. So when I take care of myself, when you take care of yourself, you can put your best foot forward. It's just as simple as that. It's about um, putting our best selves, our best work into the world. It's our life purpose, right? How do we put that into the world in the best way possible? Okay, setting and maintaining healthy personal boundaries, which is what I call the foundation for self-care, will help you have more aligned, happy relationships. This keeps everyone in your life happy. They know what to expect from you, and they also know how you expect to be treated. Everyone is better off when there are clear boundaries. So this is a huge, huge issue for a lot of people. A lot of people, including myself, um, are like extreme people pleasers, and I used to do this, and I had zero boundaries, and then I just kept viewing that as, oh, this person is taking advantage of me, this person is walking all over me. And one of the hardest things that I had to accept and learn is that this is my problem and no one else's. If I don't set clear boundaries and then maintain them, these people are going to keep doing this, not because they dislike me or don't respect me, but because my boundaries are not definable to them. And it's human nature to like take as much as you can. That's just how it is. People aren't just assholes. It's and everybody has different boundaries too. Like you might think, well, this is an obvious boundary, but what's obvious to you might not be obvious to the next person. So setting those boundaries and then defining them and maybe sharing them with people in your life, your work life, your personal life, your romantic life, are extremely important. But what's even more important is the fact that you have to maintain them. It's not somebody else's responsibility to maintain that boundary and learn and know that boundary. It's not important to them. What's important to them are their boundaries. And so when somebody crosses a boundary that you've clearly stated, you're just going to have to remind them that it's there, and then eventually it'll be respected. And sometimes this work can be very uncomfortable up front, but it creates so much more peace. It creates better relationships. It removes a lot of what's the word, disagreements and misunderstandings. Um, it creates space and time, and it also helps you have better aligned relationships with people. And might I say, deeper, more meaningful relationships. Because when someone knows what your boundaries are, and when somebody learns to respect those boundaries and you do the same to them, there's just this like deeper level of respect there between the both of you, that you're choosing to be brave enough to share, and then they're choosing to honor that, right? So that it's a much stronger, more beneficial, more aligned relationship. So you can have better relationships with friends, family, everybody, your partner. Next, when you practice self care, the people around you can learn that it is also possible for them. Oh, wait, I want to go back to the last one with the boundaries. Also, when you show, this is important because when you show people you, when you set boundaries, you show people how you want to be treated. So if you ever said the words, we've all said these words, I'm not like pointing fingers at people or like I'm not saying that I'm superior in any way because we all do these things, but when you say to yourself that person is taking advantage of me and they're walking all over me, um, it's just because they don't know how you want to be treated. And your boundaries are your boundaries. You set the rules. It has nothing to do with like societal expectations or some kind of unknown boundaries that I always say they, like who the fuck is they, right? So that they have set. You have boundaries. So what might be acceptable in one large group in society might not be acceptable to you. So you have to make that known. This is not acceptable to me over here, and this is how I choose to be treated. If you want to be in my life, this is how I'm going to be treated. If you don't like that, then you could leave. So when you set really strong boundaries to protect your energy and to encourage happiness and good experiences in your life, the right people come into your life that are aligned with you, and the other people get slowly pushed away. It's not like you have to have some big disagreement or fight. It's like this slow process. It's like one day you'll be like, huh, I haven't heard from so and so in a long time. Yeah, I don't miss that, right? It just happens slowly. It's not this big dramatic thing. So I don't want people to be afraid to set boundaries. This is like I said, the foundation to self-care. And what I mean by that is if you can't learn how to set and maintain your own personal boundaries that make you happy, like I said, everybody has a different idea of what a boundary is, then you can't make any of this other self-care crap stick. It's going to have a surface effect on you and not a deeper level, profound effect on you. Okay, I hope that made sense. Okay, next thing. Okay, when you practice self-care, the people around you can learn that it is also possible for them. You are a mentor and a positive example to the people in your life. This is so true. And I say this in like I say this as a mother, But this isn't just true for somebody who's a mother or a father. This is true for anybody who might set an example for somebody else. It could be just with family members. It could be with a brother, a sister, a partner, a mother, a father. It could be at a work level. You know, you could be showing somebody at work, they might be watching you. Everybody's watching, everybody's paying attention, especially children. You might think they're not paying attention, but they're paying attention even when they're little. Kids are not stupid when they're little, they're just inexperienced. They're smart, they're paying attention, they're extremely intuitive. So they know what's going on, they know the nuances of the way things feel in a situation. And so they're paying attention and they can see when you set a boundary and when you maintain it and the respect that you get when you do that. And they learn from that. And so does everybody. Like I said earlier, it could be a brother, a sister, it could be anybody in your life, period, friends, whatever. But it has such a positive ripple effect on all the people in your life is what I'm saying. So going back to like the main topic of this talk, and also I wrote a blog post about this, and I will be doing a podcast on this that will be released on Friday. um, the main point is that self-care is not selfish because it has so many positive effects on the people around you. Okay, next. When we learn how to de-stress and handle our strong emotions, I kind of talked about this a little bit, properly, we can respond to situations rather than react. This helps us have respectful, positive relationships and sets an example for our friends, family, and children. Okay, so learning how to not overreact to a situation. Now, I want to just go back to the boundaries things and share something with you that I'm so proud of. So I have 3 kids, and my youngest is 22. And she is the perfect example of someone who can set boundaries. And she's not afraid to set them with me because I respect them. Okay, so we have this relationship and I love it. So, like, she'll be walking home from work. She works in a city, so she walks home a lot of times. And she'll say something to me like, I'm, I can't talk very long. She just called to like tell me she's okay and say hi, which is really nice and loving and caring. And then she'll say, I can't talk very long because when I get home, I want to eat and play video games and go to bed. And I'm fine with that. Some parents might be like, I want to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a whole week. But I'm like, I totally freaking get that. Sometimes when I'm done working, especially if I have a lot of coaching calls, that really takes a lot of energy for me to like hold space for people sometimes, and I just want to decompress. And decompression does not involve talking to another person. It involves watching stupid shit on TV or scrolling on TikTok, right? So I freaking now when I was her age, I had no boundaries. I had zero boundaries. I did everything to make everybody else happy. And I can't tell you how proud, and all my kids know how to set boundaries. They really do. And I didn't show them how to do this because honestly, I just learned how to do this maybe when I was in my 40s, right? So I don't feel like I was the best example. Maybe I did set some examples that were good, but my kids set strong boundaries, and I can't tell you how happy it makes me and how proud I am when my kids do this and they do it like without even hesitation or guilt or anything. Like they're just like, this is the way it is. And I'm like, I freaking love that because I never had that when I was their age. And so I just think maybe it's a generational thing with the younger kids. I absolutely love the younger generations, and some of the differences that they show us. And I don't know. I just wanted to share that about boundaries. Okay, now where was I? De-stressing. So this is something that's really important, and I talked about this a little already, learning how to handle your feelings the way that helps you. So as an example, when I'm sad, I might need one thing, but when I'm angry, I might need another. So when I'm sad, a lot of times I need to talk things through. I don't necessarily need like advice. A lot of times people don't want advice, and I've learned this. A lot of times people just want you to listen. They just want you to listen. This is a mistake that men make all the time because men want to fix things, and that is their natural instinct for them to fix problems and fix things, especially for women, which I think is really sweet. But a lot of times, what women want is just somebody to listen. They want to vent. They just want to like talk it through. By talking it through, they're figuring it out in their head. This is what I need to do when I get sad. I need to like talk through. I need someone to listen. Sometimes I just want them to agree with me. Like, it's just a therapy kind of thing. But when I'm angry, like mad, I need to expend and move energy. And so a lot of times when I'm really angry, I run. Running dispenses my anger. I acknowledge how pissed off I am, and in order to like help that energy move through my body, I run. Now, I don't like running when I'm sad. I don't like it. Um, Crying is so hard when you're running. Like, I don't know if anybody has ever done that. I can't even cry when I run. I have to like stop. Um, Also, when I am like stressed, running doesn't always work. Sometimes it like adds to that stress level because you're in fight or flight, and it just like increases that intense fight or flight feeling. So sometimes if I'm like stressed, I need to do something like yoga or meditation or something like that. So, but everybody is different, and so this is my point. Taking the time to say, the next time you're feeling like a strong emotion, like take the time to like stop and feel the emotion. You could just acknowledge it and be like, yeah, I am sad. Like, what am I feeling right now? I don't fucking like it. Like, what am I feeling right now? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm sad and maybe a little disappointed, or like, and like talk through it. You don't have to like say it out loud. You can if that's therapeutic for you. You could write it out, whatever works for you. Just acknowledge the emotion, what you're feeling, and then ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? What do I think would make me feel better? You know how when sometimes you're just feeling like you just can crawl out of your skin because you're so uncomfortable sitting with those feelings? Well, what would make you feel better? Like sometimes when you're sad, you just need to cry. Sometimes you just need someone to hug you. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to. Sometimes you just need to like pretend something's not happening and maybe watch a movie. Like, so figure it out what you need, and then process those emotions, help them move through your body energetically somehow. After you feel the feelings, figure out, do I need to do yoga? Do I need to go for a walk? Do I need to go out to lunch with a friend? Do I need to go for a run? How am I going to process that energy and help it move through my body? Okay. Let's see. Lastly, when we make it okay, I'm sorry, let me just add something here with learning how to respond instead of react with those emotions. When you can learn how to do this, you not only set an example for other people, but you also can help diffuse so many situations. And when you do this, it can make um, a home life, a work life, different circumstances more comfortable for everyone that's in and around you. And it's just going to make people want to be around you more. They're going to want to spend more time with you. But it also just makes the world a better place because you're improving the energy level of the space that you're in. When you can handle your emotions and respond instead of react, like, like explode and react, it just makes the whole situation, even if it's a bad situation, so much better and so much manageable, not just for yourself, but also for the people around you in the vicinity of you. Even if they're not involved in the situation, they could feel the energy of it. And so when you handle your emotions, like like you respond instead of react, it just makes this is how it's not self-care isn't selfish. Self-care helps everybody around you. Okay? So when you make it a priority to love yourself and tune into your feelings and your intuition, you can make better informed decisions. So this is about taking the time to tune into yourself, okay? We can make better informed decisions and respect the way we spend our time and who we spend our time with. In turn, the people around you get to know your authentic self, and you can have a stronger, more authentic connection and experience with you. I look at this as not wasting any of your time and anybody else's time. So this is about really getting to know yourself on an authentic level. It's about really tuning into yourself and learning your likes and your dislikes and being intuitive to your feelings where you are in a situation, and then being honest with them and sharing them with the people around you. So when you can be your authentic self, people know what to expect, they know how you are, and the people that belong with you, that are aligned with that, are going to be around you, and then the people that aren't are going to move away, just like I said earlier, and you will have more aligned, more respectful, better relationships with people. You'll just have a more authentic experience. Just on the simplest level, if you're not being yourself and you're being someone else to make somebody else happy or to avoid an uncomfortable situation or argument, then you're not going to be happy in that situation. And that other person is not really going to know who you truly are because you're acting a different way in order to please them or in order to avoid an argument. So this is not an authentic connection. This is not an authentic relationship. And I don't know about you, but I'd much rather have honest, authentic relationships with people and be my true self rather than make somebody happy or avoid an argument. This is also something I didn't learn to do until I was older because, like I said, I was a people pleaser. So I didn't do it on purpose and I didn't think about it. It wasn't like an intentional action. It was just something I did. It was a survival mechanism that I had learned from the situations that I was in growing up and like in my marriage. And so I like to say to people to be themselves because everybody else is taken. I'm sure you've heard that thing. Be yourself because it's the easiest person to be. Like holding up to something that's not true to you is so much work because it doesn't come natural, right? So being your true self is easier. It takes less energy. It saves you time. It helps you have better relationships and it improves everybody's relationship with you, everybody that's in your life, in your circle. It improves all their lives too. And so these are all the reasons that I stated why self care is not selfish. Pretty fucking cool reasons, right? Like, it doesn't get better than that. Like, so when we take the time to know the importance of daily self care, we put the best possible version, the most honest version of ourselves into the world. We put our best foot forward. We put our best work into the world. We can live in our purpose and we can put that into the world and share it with other people, right? And so it's so important to do this. And not only that, but it keeps us happy and it keeps us healthy and it improves the lives of everybody around us. So self-care is not selfish. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Isn't that what they say? Okay, that is all for today. I will be back here next Wednesday with another self-care tip. Um, like I said, I talked about in the beginning that checklist. I'll put the link. I think I said this last week and I forgot to put it there, so I apologize. I will put the link to the checklist in the comments. When you opt in for the link, you will get the checklist, but you'll also get added to the Soul Aligned Self Care News, which is a weekly newsletter I send out. I include this live in the newsletter. I include the blog post and I also include some affirmations and some quotes to help you get through the week and have a more positive experience. So I would love to have you in the Soul Aligned Self Care community, not just on Facebook, but in my email community so that I can connect with you by email also. And also, when you do that, you'll get access, like I said, to my blog, my podcast, and my YouTube channel all in one, actually two emails. I send out a separate email for the podcast. So you'll get like two emails a week. And anytime I have like a class, a master class, a workshop, or if I'm promoting an offer, like I'm going to be launching my self-care program, Aligned and Worthy, soon at the end of December, actually. You'll get notified of that too. So you'll be the first notified. So when you're in the community, you're the first notified. You get all that free stuff every week, and you also get discounts that I don't offer anywhere else. So, and right now I have I'm not really calling it a Black Friday, Cyber Monday special, but I do have that. I'll put that link for that below. I call it my gratitude, my holiday gratitude page, because I don't really celebrate a lot of holidays. So I like to call it my gratitude towards my community, and that's exactly what it is. I did it last year, and I'm doing it again this year. So it's like 50% off for some of my classes, and there's a private coaching special in there too for you. So I'll put that link below too. So there'll be two links below, and if you're watching this live on YouTube, then you'll see it in the show notes. Okay, have a good rest of your week and your day. Love you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.